1-0 after the 2-1 loss last night. They lose 1-0 to the Orioles today. They will take a 6-game losing streak into the Yankee series. They will basically crawl into the Yankee series the way they have handled it this season. And they now on the year are 12-19 at home. That is ugly with 6 straight losses. Steve in Massapequa, what's up, Steve? Go ahead, Steve.
So I'm listening to what the manager is saying, and I've been listening to what you're saying in terms of the pen and the starting pitching has not really been there.
No, listen, the starting pitching has been good the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, the last 2 weeks, but like the rest of the season, not necessarily. And you said, and they have a lot of holes that they need to fill. But the theme on the radio the entire day has been that the Yankees have what the Mets need, and the Mets have what the Yankees need. And I'm not saying that they're going to trade anyone off their starting roster, but they do have guys under control the next few years that are MLB-ready players. Clint Frazier.
Put yourself in the Met position and tell me what you're going to sell your fan base on taking for DeGrom. What are you going to? You're going to take a bunch of kids for DeGrom and nobody in the major leagues?
Well, you're going to need at least 5 players. You're going to need Sheffield.
Wait a second. Forget volume. You have to bring back at least one guy who is to the fans, a known commodity, who they know is going to be a real player. We all know who he is. How do they get past that stumbling block? How do the Mets not demand Torres in the trade?
Because you need all MLB you need 4 everyday MLB players for in exchange for.
Well, you can't guarantee that 4 of them are going to be everyday players. It's very difficult, especially with guys who aren't already major league proven players. You're looking to take 4 prospects and say that they're all going to hit on all 4. Very hard to do. Very hard to do. Now, you could turn it down to 2 people and take one of them be Torres. And then you have a guy who the Mets know they have a proven star. I mean, they have a guy who's going to be a star player. I mean, there's who will be there for the next 10 or 15 years. Now, the Yankees aren't going to want to get rid of him. We all know that. So that's probably going to crush the deal. So let's say you get around that. Now you got to give them a lot more because you're trying to get them off Torres. So you could make a deal. Listen, I can make a deal with them. I definitely could do it. I don't want unproven starting pitching that I can't guarantee that's going to be good or bad. I'm staying away from the Yankee starting pitching. I'm not worried about my starting pitching. I'm worried about position players. I want to go in there and rip the Yankees from their starting players, and I'm going to go in there and take what I think are 4 building block starting players. If I could do that, would I make that deal? I would. Now, all I was told when I asked the question, and I asked it to the right people, I said, is there a wall up where there could not be a trade between you two? And they said no. That's all. They said no. Is it likely? No. But is there a wall where they couldn't happen? No, there is not. Ken and Trenton, what's up, Ken?
Mike, they stink. But it doesn't. I don't even blame Mickey Callaway for this. I blame Sandy Alderson. I mean, you have no position players that are viable outside of Yoenis Cespedes, who's always hurt. It's been what he's done his entire career. He had one good summer in 2015, got a 1-year deal. That's why he couldn't get a multi-length contract coming off of that great summer, was because this is his MO. They signed 210 Todd Frazier, who's going to strike out a ton. He's hurt because he's old. They have nothing in the farm system. This is Sandy Alderson's fault, and he needs to go down with this ship because the pitching's there, but the pitching came from Minaya, if I believe correctly. Correct?
Well, Sandy made the Syndergaard trade. He made the trade.
He did make the Syndergaard trade. I'll give him that, but he didn't draft Jacob DeGrom.
No. DeGrom is Omos. DeGrom is Omos. Harvey was Omos. The other guys, some of the other guys are Omos. But to be fair, Syndergaard went in. But again, Omos the one who got the knuckleballer here. He's the one who brought the knuckleballer in, who they traded. to get Syndergaard. So without him bringing a knuckleballer in who wins 20 games for the Mets, other than him coming in and doing that, they don't have that little chip to play. Ryan in Breezy Point, what's up, Ryan?
Mike, it's fair that you've been killing the Mets in your open pretty much every day, and it's fair. But let's get to the root of the problem, which is ever since they realized that they had a solid base of cheap starting pitching that they could control, their prerogative has been to fill the positions in the field for as inexpensive as possible. And that was step one in bringing Sandy Alderson in. He's your bargain bin general manager. They had an opportunity to load up in the past 3 off seasons. Let's go back to their decision not to re-sign Daniel Murphy, who wasn't even going to be that expensive. It's just a bad faith showing by ownership.
That was a baseball decision. That wasn't a money decision.
Mike, you don't spend enough time ripping their ownership.
But that was a
on Mickey Callaway, who's been here for 3 months.
Listen, the bottom line is
Sandy Alderson, who's brought in to save money. They got the 12th highest payroll in baseball. I'm like, Seattle
they
Mariners,
don't have the
four.
Listen. The bottom line is, it's not about they have a payroll they can work with. They can work with this payroll. It's not like they don't spend any money. It's not like they won't go out and buy a player. They're not going to go out and spend money like the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Red Sox. We know that. They're never going to do that. But they'll go out and spend money. They just got to do it properly. They've done a bad job in doing that. But on top of this, you got to remember, they did go to the World Series. So he did go to the playoffs back-to-back years, and they did go to the World Series. That does count. It's not like that wasn't there. That is there. When you yell from a Knick perspective or yell from a Jet perspective, there's no World Series there. There's nothing there that you can hang on. The Mets went to the playoffs 2 years in a row, and they went to the World Series. So they've had their moments. Now, they've made mistakes. Absolutely. They made plenty of them. And they've been extremely unlucky, which part of that has got to be on them because you got to have depth. You have to. They made a lot of bad decisions. And this year, they've made some horrific decisions. Vargas is a terrible decision. Awful. And there were a lot of pitchers out there they could get, and they wound up bringing in Vargas, and it was a terrible move. Frazier, you guys are all backtracking now because the first week, you guys were in love with Frazier the first 2 weeks of the season. In love with him. I had Yankee fans saying they should have re-signed him the first 2 weeks when the Mets got off great. So everyone's backtracking on Frazier. I don't think Frazier was the worst signing in the world. I really don't. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem was the pitching didn't get off well early, and then the bullpen imploded, and now they can't get a hit. Sully in Holtzville. What's up, Sully?
Hey, Mike. How are you?
Good, what's up?
Listen, before I get to the Yankee Met thing, one question. Brad Thomas, he's on Friday?
He's always on. That's not a question.
I just wanted to make sure.
Well, what big race is he not on for?
I just, you're back, and I was just making sure the connection was still in place.
Wait a second. Didn't you hear him the last 2 races?
I certainly did, and
okay.
I paid close attention, and I will pay close attention.
He'll always be on.
All right. Listen, Mike, one other thing. The Mets, aside from all the 10 out of 12 and 6 in a row, they've lost 8 in a row at home. Now, most people aren't even commenting on that.
Well, yeah, they've lost 6 in a row right here.
And two to Miami before they went away.
Yeah.
All right, listen, you would think what you were saying before that the Mets will be digging in and trying to make a stand here to salvage their season. And I get the sense, and I could be wrong, that the only stand they're really interested in is this weekend against the Yankees. I get the impression that if they were to take 2 out of 3 here, that would buy them enough time or put a Band-Aid on the leaking ship here to get them what they're looking for. That's the sense I'm getting.
I think you're overvaluing the Yankee series as a Yankee fan. You're overvaluing the series dramatically. 2 out of 3 doesn't get them anything here. Yeah, they sweep them. They sweep the Yankees. They get some mileage from that. That'll get people off their back for a while. If they sweep them. 2 out of 3 is not going to get them anything. It's going to put them right back in. 5 days later, they'll be back into their problems again. But, I mean, it would get them headlines for 2 or 3 days, but sweeping them would get them some mileage. They'd get weeks out of sweeping them. Totally, absolutely true. But they'd have to sweep them. Now, this series is, it's what it is. The Yankees come in. They have nothing to gain. Everybody expects them to win 2 out of 3. If they ever lose 3 out of 3, oh my God! And if they listen, I remember the Yankees getting swept by the Mets over a 4th of July. They're right back about their business. I mean, that happens. It's not that big a deal. So that doesn't have a lingering effect. There's more upside for the Mets here. There's a little downside for the Yankees, but they're still the Yankees. They're still going to go back to their pennant race and do whatever they do. They'll just, they can go shake it right back off. So it give the Met fans a couple of days to crow, absolutely. And that's what this is about. That's why this is fun. That's why this is fun. That's why I love these games. I never can understand anybody who kills these games. I really don't. And most time it's people who don't go to the games. I never hear anybody who goes to these games kill them.